Welcome to the video lecture series in History class 12th. Today we will discuss about third chapter which deals with kinship, caste and class in early Indian societies from 600 BCE to 600 CE. In this chapter we will deal with four subtopics. Those are Mahabharata, a historical resource, kinship and marriage, social differences and resources and status. Today we will discuss about kinship and marriage. Kinship and marriage tells us about family, patrilineal and matrilineal, rules of kinship and marriage and how these rules were not always followed, and about importance of women in ancient Indian society. What is family? The basic unit of society was a family, often based on blood and natural relations. Sanskrit texts use the term kul for family and jati for larger network of kinfolks, which includes cousins. As we can see, Kul family, it leads to Vansh, which includes great-grandfather, his family means grandfather, father, sons and so on, and also about the brother of great-grandfather and his family. So, it includes cousins. The term Vansh is used for lineage. Some societies regard cousins as blood relations, whereas other societies do not. So, family is the basic unit of social structure which is man-made. The members of a family share resources and perform rituals. Historians do get information about royal families easily, but it is difficult to reconstruct and know about the familial relations of common man, which is very important to reconstruct social history because it gives an insight into the people's thinking and opinions which gets reflected in their behavior. Why patrilineal important among ruling class? Before going into this discussion, let us see what patrilineal and matrilineal means. As we can see, patrilineal means from father to son and grandson, whereas matrilineal from mother to descendant, and this descendant can be of either sex. So, patrilineal means tracing descent from father to son, grandson and so on. The victory of Pandavas over Kauravas in Kurukshetra war led to the proclamation of patrilineal succession. Though patrilineal existed before Mahabharata, but the epic reinforced this idea. Patrilineal was important among ruling class due to two very important reasons. Number one, to continue family lineage, and number two, to avoid struggle for resources including the throne. But there were some variations to this. For example, if there were no sons, then brothers succeeded one another, or sometimes relatives or kinsmen they claimed the throne, and in very exceptional case women such as Prabhavati Gupta exercised power. Rules of kinship and marriage. Around 500 BCE, rules of kinship and marriage were laid down by Brahmanas in Sanskrit texts. Those texts were known as Dharam Sutras and Dharam Shastras. We can say that these were the law books of ancient India. The most important of these Dharam Sutras or Dharam Shastras is Manusmriti, which was compiled between 200 BCE and 200 CE. Now, what were those rules which were laid down? Number 1. In patriarchal society, sons were considered important. A mantra from the Rig Veda, which was probably inserted in the text around 1000 BCE and chanted by the priest while conducting the marriage ritual, which is still used even in present times. And this rule prays to Lord Indra to bless her with brave and fine sons. Daughters had no right on parental resources. Second rule, Kanyadan or the gift of a daughter in marriage was an important religious duty of the father. Third rule, around 1000 BCE, people, especially Brahmanas, were classified into Gotras, and each Gotra was named after a Vedic sage like Vasishtha, Gautam, etc. And all those who belonged to the same Gotra were regarded as his descendants. Fourth rule, daughters were expected to be married outside their Gotra. This is known as exogamy. Fifth rule, women were expected to give up their father's Gotra after marriage and adopt their husband's Gotra. Sixth rule, members of the same Gotra could not marry. Seventh rule, 8th form of marriage was recognized by Dharam Sutras and Dharam Shastras. Of these, the first 4 were considered as good, while the remaining 4 forms of marriage were condemned. Now the question arises, were these Brahmanical prescriptions about kinship and marriage were always followed? No, they were not universally followed. Though the Brahmana authors of Dharam Shastras and Dharam Sutras claimed that the rules prescribed by them had universal validity, but real social relations were far more complicated than this. Under patrilineal, sons could claim the throne after their father's death. But Mahabharata is a story about a struggle for power between 2 groups of cousins, those are Kauravas and Pandavas. This shows that variation to rules were there. Now, according to Dharam Shastras and Dharam Sutras, women had no right on resources other than Stridhan, but we can see Prabhavati Gupta exercised power, which shows that rules were not always followed. Women were expected to give up their father's Gotra and adopt that of their husbands after marriage. But we can see in case of Satavahana rulers who ruled over Deccan and Western India that even after marriage, women retained their father's Gotra instead of husband's Gotra. Maybe because some rulers had more than one wife, which is known as polygamy. And maybe this was to distinguish who was whose son, because king had many wives. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is one of the oldest Upanishads, it contains a list of successive generations of teachers and students, many of whom were designated by metronymics. Metronymics means by mother's name. Many Satavahana rulers, they married within the kin or Gotra or among cousin, which is known as endogamy. Now, this is again contrary to exogamy, which is recommended by Dharam Shastras and Dharam Sutras. And this endogamy was common among several communities in South India. Dharam Shastras and Dharam Sutras recognized 8 types of marriages. Of these, first 4 were considered as good and the remaining were condemned, maybe because last 4 were practiced by those who did not accept Brahmanical norms. Now, question arises, were mothers important? Though women had no claims to the resources of the household, but 6 means of acquiring wealth are mentioned in Manu Smriti known as Stridhan. Those were number 1, gifts given to her during marriage. Number 2, gifts she got as a token of affection. Number 3, whatever she got from her brother. Number 4, whatever she got from her mother. Number 5, whatever she got from her father, and whatever her affectionate husband might give her. Secondly, Satvahana rulers were identified through their mother's gotra, which is known as metronomics, which shows that mothers were important. But before reaching to any conclusion, we need to remember that though they were identified through metronomics, but succession to the throne was generally patrilineal. So, today we discussed about what family is, difference between patrilineal and matrilineal, and why patrilineal was important among ruling class. We also discussed about rules of kinship and marriage laid down in Dharam Shastras and Dharam Sutras, and also about how they were not always and universally followed, and also about importance of women and mother in ancient society.